Hey, what's up, Exiles? Welcome back to Dookie Gaming News, where we break down the biggest gaming updates, the good, the bad, and the downright confusing. Today, we're diving into the latest Path of Exile 2 patch, the one everyone's been hyped for. And let me tell you, it's got everything you've been asking for. Let's get into it. Alright, so Grinding Gear Games just dropped the full details on the first big patch of the year, and it's basically a wish list of all the things we've been begging for. The best part? They're not nerfing powerful builds just yet, though you know it's coming eventually. For now, it's all about quality of life upgrades, endgame mapping, and making the game feel better to play overall. Here are the highlights, and trust me, they're worth the hype. First up, endgame mapping is getting a massive overhaul. You can now zoom out of maps, making navigation way easier. No more squinting at tiny corridors. Load times for maps are faster. Boss tiles are now showing up way more often, 1 in 4 maps. Plus, there's a new tablet to spawn even more boss zones from towers. 3 new tower maps are coming, and existing ones are getting reworked to make them less boring. Mob density and drop volume, totally revamped. Get ready for better rewards and more satisfying clears. They've also cleaned up terrain clutter, so you won't be blindsided by enemies or effects you didn't see coming. Citadels? They're not hiding anymore. Now you'll see a pillar of light through the fog to guide you. Let's talk boss fights. The Arbiter of Ash now gives you 6 attempts at the lowest tier, fewer as you climb higher. More portals for other pinnacle bosses are coming later, which will be a huge help. Floor effects are much easier to see now. No more surprise deaths, because you couldn't tell where the danger zone was. Also, floor effects disappear when the enemy dies, so no more post-death revenge kills. Oh, and some boss mechanics have had their damage toned down. It's still challenging, but maybe not as soul-crushing. This patch is also tackling loot and items in a big way. Tons of unique items have been overhauled to make them more useful while leveling. Higher-level rare items will roll fewer bad mods, so you won't see as much useless junk. Tier 5 items can now roll mods they were previously locked out of, like attack speed on crossbows. Here's a big one. Custom loot filters are coming to consoles. Finally, console players can stop suffering and enjoy a cleaner, more manageable loot experience, like PC players. And for the rune system, you can now resocket new runes, making it way more flexible for builds. Combat is getting some love too. Armor is getting buffed, which should help tankier builds feel more rewarding. Floor effects, like I mentioned earlier, are easier to see and slower in some cases. Charms now display their charges and trigger timing, so no more guessing when they'll activate. GGG also hinted at class buffs, like for warriors, and more balance changes coming in the next league. But for now, they're holding back on any major nerfs. Overall, this patch feels like a win for the community. Huge shout out to Grinding Gear Games for actually listening to players and making these much-needed updates. From better mapping to loot filters on consoles, this patch is packed with quality of life improvements that are gonna make Path of Exile 2 so much more enjoyable. What do you think, Exiles? Are these changes enough to keep you grinding? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe to Dookie Gaming News, and ring that bell for more news. Until next time, happy looting, and may your maps be filled with pillars of light. Peace.